This is Vikings United, your ultimate destination for everything Minnesota Vikings. Bringing together the most passionate fans, insightful analysts, and dynamic creators from across Skol Nation. Get ready for deep dives, spirited debates, and exclusive insights from Coach Cody. We're celebrating our community, honoring our heroes, and fueling your fandom with Pillars of Valor coffee. This is more than a show. It's a movement. This is Vikings United.
One, two.
Sleigh bells ring, are you listening? In the lane, snow is glistening, a beautiful sight. We're happy tonight, walking in a winter wonderland. Gone away is the bluebird, here to stay is a new bird. He sings a love song as we go along, walking in a winter wonderland. In the meadow, we could build a snowman and pretend that he is Parson Brown. We'll say, are you married? We'll say, no, man. But you can do the job when you're in town. Later on, we'll conspire as we dream by the fire to face unafraid the plans that we made, walking in a winter wonderland. Are you listening? Snow is glistening. Where's the bluebird? There's a new bird. In the meadow, we could build a snowman and pretend that he is Parson Brown. We'll say, are you married? We'll say, no, man. But you can do the job whenever you're in town. Later on, we'll conspire as we dream by the fire to face unafraid the plans that we made, walking hand in hand through our winter wonderland.
Welcome into the Scene Project Sports Network. This is Vikings United. This is a very special holiday edition. Ho, ho, ho to everyone out there. A very Merry Christmas to you. Welcome in. I am your host, Bubba Starts, and with me, as always, my co-host, Coach Cody Hommedahl. Welcome to the show, brother. Merry Christmas to you, man.
Man, Bubba, Merry Christmas. It's a very special time of the year, obviously, and just a time for us to get together with friends, family, close ones, and, just get that holiday spirit. So I'm starting to feel it already. Just now feeling it. A couple
I
days
didn't
late.
just put this hat on for the show. I've been wearing it all day. We did some Christmas shopping today with the kids and getting out with the family today. Even though we don't have a lot of snow down here in southeast South Dakota right now, it all kind of melted off. The weather's been absolutely beautiful. It was 60 degrees yesterday. It doesn't bother me one bit, and I feel just as festive. I have no problem with a subtropical Christmas whatsoever. Maybe one year we can do a destination Christmas together when the Vikings are maybe playing on Christmas Day for an away game in, say, I don't know, Florida, Southern California. I'm okay with that.
Right. Yeah, no, somewhere warm. Definitely. It hasn't been too bad over here. I would love for a 60-degree day, but I'll take 30s for right now.
Yeah, well, and up in the Twin Cities, obviously, you're not just a Minnesota fan, but you live up that way. You guys have been getting pelted by snow already this season and kind of buried in. With snow comes car trouble, which I know you've had plenty of this year. We need to start sharing Coach Cody's Venmo so we make sure he gets to work and can keep doing the show.
Yeah, no, that was a unexpected surprise, unpleasant one to say the least. Just yeah.
Coach, how do you
Big.
feel like your life of football prepared you for the challenges that life throws at you? I know obviously we talk a lot of ball here,
Mhm.
but football is the greatest game for a reason, and it's what it makes out of young men and young women who play the game, right? That it teaches you something about life with each and every week, and Lord knows we have had some lessons taught to us with this Vikings team this year. What has it taught you, just as a reflection as we come to the end of the year here?
Well, I mean, like I had mentioned in our earlier conversation when it first happened, you're like, oh man, that sucks. I'm like, there's three things that you do or that I'd like to do when things happen. One, it is what it is. I actually learned this from one of my mentorship classes, but one, it is what it is. I mean, you can't go back and change it. You just got to go forward, harvest the good, take whatever good you can from any situation. Even in a bad situation, you can always find a positive. And then number three is let go and let God. So, I mean, I've been sticking to that, and that usually helps me because old version of Cody would have absolutely crashed out in that moment. No red solo cup tonight. No, I actually landed a really nice job opportunity getting into real estate. So I got a lot of classes and courses to go through.
Oh, well, you're going to do great at that. And as soon as you got that license, we'll be sharing it on the show and getting the word out there. So, hey, if you're looking to sell a house in the next couple of months, you can get a hold of Coach Cody. And
Oh
he
yeah,
can
I'll
help
treat you right.
out. Before we get too far into the rest of the show, we got a lot to get to, guys. We're going to do our, since the Vikings are playing on Christmas Day, we're also going to do our pregame show tonight, and then we're going to run this all as a replay on Christmas Day. So if you're watching this on Christmas Day, a Merry Christmas to you, and thanks for tuning in. We're going to get to a word from our sponsors, Pillars of Valor, and then we'll be right back. We're going to talk the good, the bad, and the ugly from the game on Sunday, and then we're going to jump into our pregame coverage here as well. So right back after a word from our sponsors, Pillar of Valor Coffee. Maybe. All right, Coach. I don't know if any of that played, but we're trying. I was in a little bit of a rush tonight getting everything ready. So if something screws up, I'll take the L on that. It's all good. It doesn't bother me. It's not the first time. But it's part of life, right? The old me
Yes.
as well, Coach, would have just crashed out here, would have got mad, throwing some stuff.
Yes.
My cat's in the background going bananas. She didn't get her allotment of attention today, so she's losing her crap back there. It's it is what it is. Oh, that's why that did that. I see now. I see what I did. Here, let's try this again, Coach.
Let's try it again. Let's run
As we
it.
cheer on our Minnesota Vikings, let's also recognize true heroes. Pillars of Valor Coffee isn't just about exceptional taste. It's a veteran-owned company with a powerful mission. With every purchase, you're directly contributing to programs that empower and support veterans and first responders. Imagine starting your day with a rich, bold coffee that also fuels a vital cause. Pillars of Valor Coffee is dedicated to making a tangible impact, honoring those who've served our nation and communities. Join them in their mission. Visit pillarsofvalor.com to learn more and get your bag today. Pillars of Valor Coffee. Great coffee, greater purpose. Hey, all right. We did it. We made it through.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We got it. All right. So let's get in the gooder, the eeler, and the yoder. That's the good, the bad, and the ugly in Vikings Yiddish, or I don't know. I don't know what they spoke. Some version of something Norwegian. But this is our chance to kind of talk about what we liked from the game, what we didn't like, and what was just atrocious. A lot more of the latter than the former with this game against the Giants. Obviously, JJ McCarthy getting hurt there towards the end of that second quarter had a lot to do with that, Coach. But what did you like before it turned ugly?
I mean, the good. Obviously, we're coming out with a win. Kept that winning streak alive, 3 in a row. Let's keep it going. A quick turnaround here, but I like the fact that we were able to work in Justin Jefferson, try to get the ball to him early. Just with a start like that and with the slow start that he has been having, it's pivotal that you do get him the ball early in games like these. Where you're going up against an opponent where it's, the lower echelon, I guess.
It definitely seemed like KOC was watching the pregame show again, because they were doing everything that you had mentioned off the top, right? The screens, however you could get him the ball, get the ball in his hands, and just let him go make plays. And it's not like they were not doing that the rest of the year. I'm sure there was points where they, maybe forced it a little too hard, especially in Dallas. I think you took some, you threw some balls in there that you didn't need to. You probably could have looked somewhere else, but he's one of the best. I mean, he's the best receiver in the league, if you ask me. Having watched him play in person a few times now, the amount of respect that he commands from a defense, like nobody's game planning for anything other than how do we stop Justin Jefferson, and he can still make you pay during a game.
Yeah, no. And KOC probably is watching this, and what KOC, we've been giving you a lot of grief in the earlier episodes, but you're coming around. We're growing and learning with this. You are doing the same, so kudos to you. But Jefferson, the different styles of play calls that KOC was throwing out too, with those kind of screen passes to Josh Oliver coming out, and it just looked totally different than what I've seen so far this year. So that was actually really, really nice to see. Other than that, I'd say the only other good is Byron Murphy got a pick. He finally got a pick after going crazy last year. Couldn't find one, couldn't find water if he jumped out of a boat type of thing. And he finally got one. Granted, it was off a tip, but we'll take it.
Well, and so last year, if I'm not mistaken, he was playing a lot more in the slot last year, which with this defense, that puts you in a position to catch those batted balls, to, get those tipped balls over the middle of the field, and puts in a position for that. It's a little bit harder on that outside to come up with a lot of those opportunistic picks, right? And like you said, this one coming off the hands of the big tight end as he was about to get lit up by the linebacker there, got the alligator arms out a little bit, and the ball pops up in the air, and Murphy's got good hands, right? It's just he's not necessarily getting those opportunities this year, playing, I don't want to say out of position, but in a much different position than he was last year, playing in more of that nickel cornerback position.
Yeah, well, and then, along with that, but, when you have a year like that, it opens some eyes, and you're most likely not going to get as much attention the next year or even the next game, because everyone's seeing that you're locking down that side of the field. So I mean, just playing out of position, less opportunities coming his way. And sometimes when it's your year, it's your year. Sometimes it's not. So just it goes hand in hand. But that would honestly, that's probably the only good that I would have for that game. Only good.
Yeah, well, and you know what? You got a quarter and a half of JJ McCarthy playing pretty well, right? And then obviously throws the ball, slams his hand into the helmet. That stuff happens to these quarterbacks all the time. Now that's restarting the whole, he's made a glass kind of thing. I mean, this happens when you're playing at a high level, and when you're a young player, you don't necessarily know how to play. I don't want to say safe, but playing a little bit differently to not put yourself in a position to get hurt. And I don't know, and maybe that's a learned trait. JJ does play with a little bit of reckless abandon out there, but maybe some of those throws, where you're coming and you're going to hit your hand there, an older player may throw it a little bit differently. They may sling out their little sidearm action there instead of throwing in a way that your follow through is going to take you right into that defensive lineman helmet like that. It's unfortunate because I thought he was playing well, showing you some things with his legs, getting in there for the rushing touchdown. And, the pick six obviously got called back, but even that one, not really his fault. Neither one of the picks, I would say, were his fault.
Yeah.
I know the pick six got called back, but your receiver's got to catch the ball. And I feel like we can kind of transfer into the bad from here because Jordan Addison dropped a fucking dime off of his chest in the end zone again. Like, what the hell, man? Get your act together.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. I brought it up a couple weeks, maybe 3 weeks ago, but I asked the question, which Addison are we going to see? Because we can see the Addison that comes out and can damn near be that number 2 wide receiver. Or you see what we saw this past weekend where, our quarterbacks finally can get you that ball down the field and you're not even it hits you right in the chest and you're going to drop it. That's ridiculous. That pick, like you mentioned, both those picks, I'm not putting that on McCarthy one bit. That screenplay that he ended up getting hurt on. Screens are they're basically allowing the defense to get upfield quick. So
Cody, that's not even the one that he got hurt on. He hurt his hand earlier in the game. So they showed a replay where he was following through on a throw earlier in the game and actually smacks, I think it was Roy Robertson Harris, catches Roy Rob in the helmet. And honestly, I'm going to be real about that strip sack that they called. The ball was out before he got tackled. If you see the rear end zone, the all 22, when you see it on the all 22 and you get that end zone look at it, that ball's already out. He was trying to dirt it, and I think he kind of lost control of the ball. And I think if it's Tom Brady doing that, that's an incomplete pass, right? But because, and then he gets lit up there, that ball's out. And they only showed that replay one time. They only showed it on one time coming back from the halftime. And I saw the one replay and was like, that ball's already out before he ever gets hit. So it wasn't necessarily on that play, but then probably gets, re-injured on there. And they're coming over, or they see it like, hey, what happened on the play? And he's like, man, I can't grab the ball. You know what I mean? Or they're, bitching at him, why didn't you hang on to the ball? What are you doing? And it's like, man, it slipped out because I don't have that grip strength. And that's where they start to do the testing. You see him wince on the sideline there. So, yeah, man. I think if that team's even if those teams are contending, I think they take another look at that play. And because it was in the final 2 minutes of the half, that it gets an extra look. But I think because it's such an inconsequential game that nobody even cares to watch the replay, right? Like nobody in New York gives a shit. Like it doesn't matter. You're a low priority. But to me, ball was out. You can see it clear as day. That ball is out. And I think it's related to the injury that he sustained earlier in the game.
That's my bad. Thank you for picking me up on that. You had texted me about that when I was getting my tire up out of the ditch, so I was still climbing up out of that valley. But it was a trip, man. It made me feel alive, though. Feeling all emotions. But other than that, the bad. I mean, just losing JJ going down like that, and now out for this week, coming up against the Lions. It leaves you to question, dude. Probably just shut him down. You probably
Yeah,
just shut
I
him
don't
down.
think he's coming back. I just, especially if it's a hairline fracture, there is no reason to go back out there and risk it, especially because you've seen a little bit of growth. I know a lot of people want to see more, but there's a lot they're going to be able to see in this offseason because I don't think quarterback is your first move. I know a lot of us fans are like, you got to get somebody. I think that's going to be a pulling someone off the street. You don't know who's going to get cut in training camp, right? And I think it's going to be more of that than, I don't think they're making a big splash at quarterback with trading for a starter, a Matt Stafford or a Joe Burrow. I don't think that's happening. I think a percentage chance of that happen in the teens, maybe in the high teens, right? Like a 18% chance maybe of something happen because the offer that you would make would be too sweet, right? If Burrow's available for 2 firsts and 2 seconds, now I'm talking, but 3 first rounders, I don't think you're bringing the Vikings to the table, mortgaging your entire future in that way. But yeah, losing JJ sucks, man.
Well, and even 2 first rounders and 2 seconds, because you can package those 2 seconds into a third first. So he's a good quarterback. I would love to have him on our team. All this talking about him possibly coming to the Vikings, or all the different scenarios that would bring him here. I just
He's been
keep up
hurt just as much, if not more, than JJ McCarthy has, though.
Yep. So I mean, the draft capital is that's too much for me. And as much as I want to go for an offensive lineman, I'd go for Jeremiah Love. Just saying. KOC, if you're listening, Quasi, Jeremiah Love. But I think you got to shut down JJ McCarthy, and that you already shut down Darisaw. Then it brings into question, how long are you going to keep Jefferson out there? Now, he's so close. He's got 27 yards to go to break Randy Moss's record for most yards by a receiver in his first 6 seasons.
I think if these were, wow, Detroit plays inside, but and both of these games are at US Bank Stadium. I think if you were playing away on week 17, right? If you were playing in Lambeau and he already had the record, so say like he gets the yards this week and they were playing outdoors in Lambeau, I'd say they might shut him down. You know what I mean? Or maybe on a pitch count or something. You just don't risk it. But both of them being at home indoors, you feel like it minimizes some of the risk, I guess. It's if he gets it this week, it'll be interesting to see what they do. Obviously, he's playing on Christmas Day, but it'll be really interesting to see if, like, the 1,000-yard season, these records that he's chasing down, if those are done, it'll be interesting to see what happens in that last game of the season.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, he just because the Vikings are playing on Christmas Day, even if we were, winless, they would still shut down most of the offense. They'd bring them back out just because Christmas and Jefferson. So that makes sense. But the ugly, just the whole game in general, I thought was just ugly. Refs didn't help us out. With a couple of calls you had mentioned. I had missed that one. What do you want to explain that call?
Which one was that?
I think was it the roughing the pass? No.
Yeah, there was a roughing the passer I didn't agree with at all. Eric Wilson, I'm pretty sure, is who they called it on. He came in and I mean, it was a little bit delayed. Jackson Dart's moving around back there. I mean, what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do when you're playing this fast? And it totally changed the game because they ended up getting 3 points on that drive to tie it. Now we came back down and were able to kick another field goal to take the lead for good. But it was a 15-yard penalty when they were at about midfield. It was on 3rd down. So it was a sack to force it to 4th down. I mean, it wasn't malicious. It wasn't like it just, I don't know. I don't know. We talked about it pregame about exactly like you're taught to wrap them up. I just don't know. And I get it. Inconsequential game. Are they going by the letter of the rule? Yes. The rule sucks. Like, and that's kind of where I'm at, is that like the rule as it is written and as it's called out here, it is just awful. Absolutely awful. I can't stand it because it changes games. And had this game been of some consequence, it has ramifications, right? And I don't agree with it. He didn't hit him. I think they called it helmet to helmet. But what are you supposed to do? Like, that's my thing. Like, you can't help if this giant thing on your head grazes a piece of the other giant thing on someone else's head. Right? It wasn't him leaning in with the head and smashing into his face. The very tip of his helmet happens to catch the face mask. What are you going to do? Like, I just don't understand.
I mean, and that's why these players are professional players playing at the highest level, because, you know, even with all these rule changes and everything, they can still come out and perform and adjust to these rule changes and perform at a high level. And I mean, it's getting bad. They're probably, you know, they already got flag football as an Olympic sport. I could see them trying to take out football all in general just because of how vicious it is. But that's the game. People got to get used to it.
I just don't know what you're supposed to do in that situation as a defensive player, because Wilson had, like, it was a little bit of a delayed blitz to begin with, and he kind of comes free as Dart's moving around in the pocket, and he had a good 4 or 5 step run. I mean, he is moving full speed at this point. What is he supposed to do differently? I don't understand. I just don't understand. So do you just let him go? Do you not touch him at all?
That's basically where the game's coming down to.
I don't know what you're supposed to do. Like, it's crazy to me. It's so crazy to me. And I mean, it is what it is. The rules are what they are. They're not changing. I do agree with a lot of them and saving these quarterbacks. I'm not saying that the rule needs to be changed, but there needs to be, I don't know. I don't know what you do about it. It's atrocious what you're doing, because of ultimately what it comes down to is that you're stealing money from these players as well, because Dallas Turner would have had like 3 extra sacks this year if not for roughing the passer. At least I think he's got called for 3 or 4, and we could probably check the stats. And if Big B were here, and a shout out to our co-host Big B, wasn't feeling well, and he's got to work at 6 a.m. tomorrow on Christmas Eve, so wasn't able to join us tonight. He said, I'm popping some sleep meds and passing out. So I was like, buddy, you do what you got to do. But it's stealing money from these young players, right? From these young men who only have a limited amount of time in the league to make that money. The difference between 3 sacks and 6 sacks when it comes down to contract time is pretty freaking big, right? So I don't know. I feel for him as players. I feel for him. Like, and as someone who didn't even really like play the game at any kind of level, right? I just don't know how you're going to go full speed and you're going to make a split-second decision that if he gets away from you and he goes and hits a big pass, everybody's looking at you and going, you fucking suck. You know, like the double standard of it is just frustrating.
No, that's exactly it. And that, you know, and that goes, you know, there's so many decisions that you have to make in a split second. And, you know, your reaction time, you know, if that quarterback dips his head a little bit or moves a little bit, and you don't match that, you're going to get fined. And, you know, I mean, it's no secret. Everybody's out to try to get you somehow, some way. Anytime they can get you, they're going to get you. It's not they're like, yeah, these NFL contracts are getting bigger and bigger, but the fines are getting bigger and bigger, and they're finding every possible way to slap them things on.
Oh, they got Puka Nakua for rubbing his hands together. Fined him 25 grand.
I know. There's gonna be something for everything. Everybody's gonna try to find something. Now, I can't speak on that because I heard about it, but I don't know all too much about whatever. But I mean, that's just ridiculous. He's not trying to do anything. We're just ball players, heat of the moment, showing emotion.
Yeah,
it is
no,
what it
and
is.
he was told to do it by another podcaster who he was on with, and I got the whole backstory. Another podcast that I listened to. Shout out to Andy Frisella, the Real AF podcast. They went pretty in depth on it, but it goes to show you, man, this league is just unreal with their rules and everything that you're trying to do, and to play at this high of a level. And you know what? Honestly, it's only a matter of time before the talent starts to leave it, right? Before somebody else with a whole big boatload of money goes, you know what? We're going to make a rival league. And I know some people have tried, but there's only so long that people are going to continue to support this kind of crap. And if it ever does happen to the NFL, then they had it coming.
Yeah, no, you make your bed, you can lay in it, type of thing. I agree with that 100%.
Talking about, a $100 billion trillion dollar, franchise that is the NFL. So it ain't happening anytime soon, but you never know, man. It's only a matter of time before people just start tuning out. I mean, you've seen what it takes for an NFL fan base to tune out with this Vikings team, right? And the Wilfs kind of hemorrhaging money that they could have made just because the team's no longer going to make the playoffs, right? Like they're doing whatever they can to sell tickets at this point to fill up their stadium just because the team was no longer in a playoff hunt. So, I don't know how teams like the Dolphins even, stay in the league without the money share, right? Without the good teams kind of keeping the bad teams afloat.
Yeah, the Wolves. I mean, you get used to playoff seasons, successful seasons, 10+ win seasons, and those home games. You're racking in money. You're able to charge top dollar because you have superstars like Jefferson. You're having a good team, good record. It's exciting football, and then maybe a playoff game. That's just added revenue, exposure to your brand throughout the year. And then when it all turns for the worst, to us, it might not seem like a lot of money, but they're losing a lot of money right now. And it is what it is, but I think it's a good, decent gesture by the Wolves, cutting prices to the tickets like they have been. Making it possible for people to, experience a Vikings game that they might not have had the chance to do.
Yeah. Anything else you want to cover on this game before we move on to our pregame section of the show?
We got out of there. We got lucky. That's it.
Hey, even an ugly win is a win, Coach. And this team still has a chance to win double-digit games. Like, if you would have said that 4 weeks ago, right? Like, what?
Yeah, it didn't look good. It didn't look good. And we were able to, the Giants and the Washington Redskins, they're, all respect to them, but they're lower, in the standings. But we had to win that game, and we had to find any way possible to win that game. So we did. That's huge.
That is all that matters. Hey, appreciate you, Paul. That's my buddy Paul Schlatthaug. He's helped us out with some editing. And
Paul?
I know he's going to be helping us out as this show continues to grow and move on. So a Merry Christmas to you as well, Paul. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to roll a little bit here. We're going to get started on our pregame show. So pull it back here. Give myself a little bit of a break. I need to reset. I need to let this Giants game go. and get in the mode to start talking about this game coming up on Christmas Day. So we'll be right back with our pregame coverage.
Psychedelic sounds, I leave my heart down on the ground. Since I don't have you around, I'll grab a bottle off the shelf and go and drink it by myself. Say you wanna talk it out, well I don't think I need your help. Think I'm better off alone. I made my whole run on the road. I won't spend my lonely nights talking on the telephone. I find a girl at every show, but I will never let you know how much I regret the past and why didn't you go? Because hearts ain't smart, they're built for fools. Like a doggy on a chain, I got my heart off your leash, but you still infect my brain. So now I'm running round in circles, cause I can't forget the pain. Like 1,000 shiny daggers every time I hear your name. So I have to get control of my body and my soul. I pick my heart up off the floor like I had to twice before. Should've cared a little less, we should've loved a little more. Now we both regret the past as we're walking out the door. Because hearts ain't smart, they're built for fools.
As we cheer on our Minnesota Vikings, let's also recognize true heroes. Pillars of Valor Coffee isn't just about exceptional taste. It's a veteran-owned company with a powerful mission. With every purchase, you're directly contributing to programs that empower and support veterans and first responders. Imagine starting your day with a rich, bold coffee that also fuels a vital cause. Pillars of Valor Coffee is dedicated to making a tangible impact, honoring those who've served our nation and communities. Join them in their mission. Visit pillarsofvalor.com to learn more and get your bag today. Pillars of Valor Coffee. Great coffee, greater purpose. All right, and welcome back now, moving into our pregame coverage. Christmas Day, Vikings, Lions at US Bank Stadium. Fired up for this one. You still want to win. I think a lot of people looking at the way winning this game can affect the schedule for next year, or it can affect draft stock. I don't know the draft is as much of a thing as beating the Lions can definitely affect the way that the schedule looks, at least right now, looking at, the third and fourth place, the difference between the third and fourth place schedule. So a lot on the line here. I think there's definitely a contingent of the fan base that is kind of hoping that the game isn't awful, but you don't come out victorious. I am not of the, I don't have it in me to root for a team to lose, right? Like, I don't want to watch my team lose ever. Coach, can you talk about from a locker room and culture standpoint of like, culture is everything. And that's what you're trying to build here. You don't ever want it in the locker room that these guys are thinking about, you know, what this has for next year, right?
No, not at all. You know, it's inevitable that people are going to anyway. So you just try to minimize it and try to make it as less of a distraction. I am in the same boat, kind of, sort of. You know, as a coach, I'm going for the dub. I'm going for the win, 100%. As a fan and if I'm thinking about it from like a higher top management spot, Wilps and Quasey, the Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers are still in the hunt for the playoffs. As a Viking fan, do you lose the game? Do you rest your starters like you're already planning on resting Justin Jefferson or JJ McCarthy? You're resting some of the offensive line. Do you shut it down and see what you have depth-wise to help you make decisions for the offseason and making cuts? And if you win, you're just helping out the Packers. And that's just something as a fan I can't get behind one bit.
I feel you there. Yeah, man. That was the easy part about transitioning from rooting for one NFC North team for most of my life to donning the purple and gold or the purple and white now. And it's going to be the whiteout game on Christmas Day, which we were at the whiteout game last year on Monday Night Football. And what a fucking experience, man. It was so incredible. Everybody dressed up. Obviously, we've had Sir Picasso on several times now. He's also Darth Viking. And so to see him in the all-white Vader and everybody dressed up, it's just so cool, man. What a great look. So going to be a ton of fun out there regardless. I think it makes it hurt like a little bit less. And now that JJ's not playing, and no offense to Max Brosmer, I mean, he's an undrafted rookie for a reason. The expectations aren't very high for him. Detroit just lost that crazy game at home against the Steelers. That final play was totally wild. I've never seen anything like that. It was, my wife said it was awesome. It was an incredible experience. And I can't talk enough good things. Kind of unfortunate this year that it was on Christmas Day because that poses so many challenges for a lot of families, right, to get there. And then the team just kind of be out of it. I know a lot of our VWO friends actually did some giveaways with their tickets and got some single parents out there into the seats. So that's really cool. Shout out to Sir Death and a lot of our other VWO crew that did that and got some really great seats in 140 out to some incredibly deserving parents out there. But I mean, this Detroit team, this is a must-win game for them to even stay in the hunt yet. They're not in a playoff spot right now. They have to win. And we have a chance to really kind of end their season for a team that, we kind of owe one to a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough because it's, whose season do you want to end? When it comes down to it, if we lose this one and we help out the Lions, it's also helping out our draft position, which I know a bunch of fans have been eyeing up since probably week 5, week 6. But this Lions team, both the Lions and the Packers need to win out, and they both obviously need help. The other team losing. I feel like even with Brosmer, he kind of opened up my eyes last week coming in relief. The game wasn't won. He still had to lead the team down there. Comes in for JJ McCarthy, and first drive, has a 3rd and 10 and is able to hit Jefferson for 11 yards. Was able to, pass, make throws down the field and get it to, not only make throws down the field, but get it to Jefferson. And that's what you need to do in big moments like that. Third down, long down and distance, when you need to play, get it to the playmaker. And that's what he was able to do. He showed a little bit of, promise. And so I just hope it's not anything like the Seattle game. That's all I want. A win would be nice. Let's get 4 in a row. But just look better than you did your first start. You're an undrafted rookie. Not a lot of expectation because of, not being drafted. But, just show us a night and day difference between your first start and your second start. Not only for us and the team, but for himself, if he wants to stay on this team and be relevant at all, even as a backup or a third string.
Yeah, well, and the team looks a lot different now, right? Your play caller is going to treat this game a lot differently than he did. I think KOC kind of had his come to Jesus moment, no pun intended here at Christmas time. But he had it after that Seattle game, right? Where it made it quite evident that, like, hey, buddy, look, regardless of who's been in at quarterback, you've kind of sucked, and so I think the team looks different. We have, your number one fans in the building. What up, girl? Thanks for
what up, Nicole?
Appreciate you. We have, it's going to be a little bit different look. And this Detroit team, they're banged up too. We're going to get into that in our keys to the game, but they need this one. And I feel like they're going to be maybe a little bit more motivated because they don't want to go from first to worst, right? A lot of teams kind of make that the Bears this year in the NFC North have gone from, the 4th place team to potentially clinching the division, I think, with a win this week. So you don't want to go the opposite way. And I think a lot of people are stunned by what the Vikings have done here. They looked like we were going to be the basement dwellers regardless, especially after, week 8, week 9, and how things were trending. And now you find yourself in a position where, the big difference right now isn't draft position necessarily. It is definitely in the scheduling for next year, playing the 4th place teams in your out of conference games or playing the 3rd place teams and the teams that you're looking, because we already know, what teams that will be in those positions and how things are shaking out is, a difference between playing some really bad, traditionally bad football teams or playing some, teams that are traditionally good, but just maybe had a bad year. Right. The NFC West, I think, is one of the conferences next year and out of division games in conference that you could be playing a 3rd place San Francisco 49ers team or playing the Arizona Cardinals. Right. And I think that's one of the big ones to kind of circle right at this moment. But you don't know what those teams are going to be from year to year either, and injuries and when you play them in the season. So I don't like to put a lot of stock in that. I think you still have so much to show with the culture of your team. Now, is it going to maybe sting a little less if this team or, this game goes kind of, into the 4th quarter? It's been close. And then maybe Detroit pulls away, wins by a touchdown or, between, 5 to 10 points, right? Where it didn't feel like a blowout. They pulled it away at the end. Does it then sting a little bit less? I think that's okay, right? But I don't want to watch this team just go out and lay down and get the brakes beat off them on Christmas Day. That's not how I want to spend my Christmas, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, no, definitely not lay down. I think, you made up the good point. Just going out there, even if, we're losing by, like you said, a touchdown, a field goal, whatever it may be, just 1-score game, but just make it enjoyable, make it entertaining, just make it a game, especially for Christmas. We can't their Seattle thing, especially on Christmas. We're gonna be the laughing stock.
Yeah, we've done that enough already this year. Like,
Yeah.
we've had enough of that. All right, Coach, let's get into the keys to the game. You sent them to me a few hours ago. I managed to get the graphics done. Every week, Coach Cody gives me 3 keys that he thinks are going to be keys to the Vikings winning. Even if we don't really want that to happen, we're still going to pretend that we're trying to win every game. So exploiting Detroit's injured and thin secondary, just looking at their injury report for this week, it is long. Ours isn't great either, just to be perfectly honest. Slow down the Lions' run game, which with that 2-headed monster back there is going to be tough. And make Goff one-dimensional, as we kind of saw if you were watching that Steelers-Detroit game. This offense looks a lot different than last year. So, and then playing smart and disciplined football against the Dan Campbell chaos, which there's still no lack of that. That is very much the same this year as last. But let's talk about this Detroit secondary. I'm going to let you go ahead and talk a little bit. I'm actually going to bring up their the injury reports while you're doing that.
Yeah, do your thing. I mean, Detroit. First of all, just that game. I just want to comment real quick. That game against the Steelers, that ending was crazy, absolutely crazy. They are, like I said, they're still in the hunt for the playoffs. After a game like that, they're going to be hungry for a win. So we got to be on our toes. But regardless, this Detroit team, they're hurt. They are hurt. This is no joke. These guys, they lost Laporta, their tight end. They've been losing people left and right on the offensive line too. They had to bring back old veteran Dan Skipper. Shout out to him. Let's see. Their secondary has been taking a huge hit. Yeah, they have playmakers like Aiden Hutchinson, Anzalone, but their back end, their corners and safeties are just, they're dropping like flies quicker than they can get them in the building, it seems like. And especially at the safety position. And because of that, they've been giving up a ton of explosive plays, a ton of them. When the safeties, I don't know why the Detroit Lions have done this, and not made an adjustment. But when I'm telling you right now, look for it in the game. When the safeties are deep and just too high, deep safeties, if we don't run the ball, I'm going to be extremely upset. There's a weakness right there. But with that, those injuries, lining up in the back or with the cornerbacks and DBs, I mean, there's no reason why our wide receivers can't do any type of damage whatsoever as long as Brosmer can get them the ball. They actually lost another one. I don't know if he is still on the injured or like the injury list, but safety Avonte Maddox, he ended up actually getting pulled mid-play. They had stopped the game and bring him into the blue tent, probably for a concussion. So that's just
right. He's listed as a cornerback, but he did not participate in Monday or Tuesday's practice. So I would say he's trending in the wrong direction. Another surprise on there, and it's just due to illness, but David Montgomery didn't participate in practice today either. So if he's still a little under the weather, depending on what it is, the flu can kind of keep a guy out, but even if it doesn't keep him out of the game, could be something that limits his usage at least, and he's a big part of that rushing attack.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And Smokin' Jer here, he's part of the NFC North trash talk cave. Another text. Send me a message on Facebook if you got me over there. Send me a message. I'll send you the link, man. Shoot me a DM. And if you want to come on for a few minutes and share towards the end of the show, we'd love to have you, man. That was crazy. The run game, the Steelers were getting messed up. And a lot of it was because they were able to get to that second and third level of the defense. And there was just nobody back there to stop them. right? That
Yeah.
Steelers rushing attack really took advantage. And it seemed like towards the end of the game, and that must have been after Maddox got pulled out, and you're putting people back there, with a little bit less experience, because again, coach, you know this as a defensive back coach, it only takes one wrong step there at a safety position. If you get sucked a little too far inside and you're that last line of defense, so these NFL running backs, man, they're gone. So it's not just in the pass game that it can be an issue. It can be in that run game as well, and maybe missing a fit in that run game because you have a little bit less experience back there.
Yeah, no. If we can force these safeties into making tough decisions, it's going to be. I feel like it's going to be a tough one. They do have one corner that's up and coming, number 23. I think it's Rock Yassin, but he's been like one of the only bright spots, playing, coming in to, and being that next man up. He's been making plays, so they have some people, coming in for depth and actually providing depth. So as long as we, I guess, take calculated shots, I don't think we're going to take many with Brosmer, but who knows? We got to keep them guessing a little bit. So
and
maybe one or two.
Brosmer doesn't have a good arm, right? You saw him throw that deep out to Jefferson. You don't make that throw without an NFL arm talent. Now, I think it's a lot of other things. I don't think he's as good of an athlete as a JJ McCarthy. He's not as big. He's not, just like in stature, right? But he's got an NFL caliber arm. So I wouldn't be surprised if they try to take advantage of that a little bit and to try to hit some of these deep shots early and get out there. And I know, I was just looking at the injury report for the Vikings too, and it's long. So Hawkinson with the shoulder did not participate in Monday or Tuesday's practice. Ryan Kelly, I'm going to assume he's out, concussion, did not participate Monday or Tuesday. Jordan Mason did not participate in Monday or Tuesday's practice. And obviously we talked about McCarthy already being ruled out. Brian O'Neill limited on Tuesday. Aaron Jones limited both Monday and Tuesday. And Ty Chandler, unfortunately, went on the injured list, but he was a full participant both Monday and Tuesday. So, you're probably going to see quite a bit of Ty Chandler, I would assume, and maybe some tricky things back there to get maybe some of these speedy wide receivers, a Naylor, and I know we got Ty Felton back there. Maybe you're seeing a little bit more of that, taking some pages out of Dan Campbell's book and throwing some of the trick plays. Hey, maybe we'll see the flea flicker this week.
Hey,
Beal get his Christmas wish.
At least one thing come true. We can hope for that. That's for sure.
Awesome, man. Well, I think we covered the secondary pretty good here. Let's move on to key 2.
Slowing down the run game. Make off one-dimensional. Now this is tricky. They have an explosive offense. Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Jameson Williams, as their wide receivers. They got this young guy, Isaac Tesla, and it seems like this dude, all he does is catch touchdowns. So, even with Laporta out, they have weapons on the outside, Montgomery and Gibbs. Like you mentioned, if Montgomery doesn't play, that helps us out a lot, but you still got to stop Gibbs, and that is a very tough thing to do. You can't stop him. You just try to contain him. And so, with Detroit having a loaded offense, they love their running game. With 2 running backs like that, you're going to lean off of it. And then that's when Amon-Ra St. Brown makes his money. If we can stop their running game, limit the damage that these 2 star running backs can do, and make Goff throw. Yeah, Goff is a veteran quarterback, above average. Anybody would like to have him. He isn't fast or mobile at all. He's just going to stand there like Brady. That's why you always take the under on his rushing yards. But
Yeah, even if it's 0,
Yeah.
hammer the under.
Even if it's 0, take the under. But yeah, if the Vikings must take away the run early, force Goff to beat them consistently through the air with injuries along the Detroit offensive line. Laporta out. This is a moment to attack them. If you can get pressure in the middle, you know, big boys, Allen and Hargrave, you got to show up today, because if you get pressure in the middle, he's not going to be able to beat you on the outside and escape. So this could be a big opportunity for the defense and for Flores.
Right, and Hargrave limited participant in the last 2 practices as well. Jer, I see you backstage. We're gonna get through the rest of our keys, and then we'll bring you in, man. Appreciate you tapping in with us tonight. Looking forward to talking with you and getting to bring you onto the show. Yeah, I mean, you said it. Montgomery, even if he plays, if he's been sick all week, that is going to be that's going to be something to watch, right? Because he's going to be a little bit hobbled regardless. So we'll kind of wait and see what becomes of that. But
basically,
there's no telling.
If we stop the run, win on early downs, and get Detroit behind schedule for their play calls, make it harder for Dan Campbell to empty the playbook, to dig in his bag and, pull out some tricks and hit us with it.
Well, and it plays into this Vikings team and what they do well. When you're able to stop that run and you can get the, Dallas Turner and Van Ginkel and, this defense coming with the pressure and getting after a not mobile quarterback, right? I mean, they got to Jackson Dart, who's he doesn't have a lot of experience, but the kid can move around back there and make some things happen with his legs. You do not have that with Jared Goff at all. So if this defense can dial up the pressure because you have them in the 3rd and long situations in which we excel, we can really do some damage against this and keep a young quarterback on the other side of the field with Max Brosmer in the game long enough to hopefully make a couple of plays. I mean, this game's going to come down. I don't know what the spreads are right now. I haven't checked, and maybe Jared pays a little bit more attention to the gambling side. I don't have any money, so I'm not doing a whole lot of gambling. I'm not paying attention to those things, but it's going to come down. It's a division game. I don't see it, being more than a 5-point game, right? Less than a touchdown, I think is what this comes down to, unless something crazy happens and they're able to force some mistakes out of Max Brosmer down the stretch.
Well, and like we brought up a few weeks ago, for KOC, big keys for the game was to sustain drives. We cannot be going 3 and out in general, but with Max Brosmer, we cannot go 3 and out at all. We have to at least move the sticks 2 or 3 times.
12 to 19 play drives. Running the ball,
we have to
and getting first downs. Got to have them.
If we have to, and Brosmer, like I said, he showed a little bit of something to me last week. Just coming in and not only holding on, but giving us a position to get that late field goal. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, game-winning drive, man.
Hey, I've been telling people, I'm like, that win didn't go to JJ. He might have started the game, but last time I checked, we were tied when he left.
Yep. Yeah. All right. Key 3, coach, play smart, disciplined football. We talked about the chaos that Dan Campbell likes to bring in really all points of the game. And we're going to get Jer on to talk about that kneecap biting Jer. Dan Campbell was bringing chaos to the team before he ever stepped onto the sideline.
Yeah. You cannot predict this guy. He does unorthodox things, but it works out for him. And, if it works, keep it going. He'll go for it on 4th down. It doesn't matter where he is on the field. Doesn't matter what time in the game it is, early or not. He'll dial up the trick plays like nothing. And that'll test our defense and our discipline, and just staying in the right spots, not trying to, always make that huge play, but just playing within the system. Because if you don't, it can turn ugly and embarrassing really, really quick. The Vikings got to stay assignment sound, play smart football, communicate on any motions, misdirections, trick plays. We got to make tackles in space. It's been a kind of an issue. Missed tackles, making me puke. And on the offense,
Gibbs, man, with the speed that he brings, you got to take him down on first contact, because if he gets loose, he's gone.
Yeah,
he's gone.
Yeah, quick twitch, and then he's got that speed. He can stop and start, and it almost looks like he doesn't lose any speed doing it. It's that quick. He's a very talented player.
This team is on a historic pace right now. This defense, especially, is performing at a high level. Now, granted, the opponents, some of the opponents the last few weeks, but what is it? They have not allowed a passing touchdown in like 6 games.
I guess I don't know for sure, but
no, I would have to look it up, and I might do that when Jer jumps on with us here in a minute. But I mean, you have to play fundamental football with a team that's going to try to create chaos with the trick plays, with the misdirection, and you just have to not bite on that and not let it get you. Make some stops on 3rd and 4th down, for crying out loud with this team. Make a damn stop on 3rd down, on 3rd and long, please.
Yeah, well, if I feel like the defense has to come and they got to show up and play. Getting off the field is going to be crucial for them as well, just because if it doesn't go well on offense, they're going to be out there a long time. So they got to take their opportunities when they can and just make plays, get off the field, give it back to the offense, give us more time to score, even if they're just field goals all day, whatever. Will Reichert, he'll kick it from Yucatan, like I said a few weeks ago. So we got no problems. Let's see, on offense, Max Brosmer, he gets his second start. Let's see how he builds off of last week.
Well, and he's got to look for this, man. we said we're going to keep him there, and we weren't joking.
No joke at all.
One man for the job this week.
Well, and who else would we rather pick than Justin Jefferson? He's basically the only exciting thing happening for this team, even with him having a below average, under par season. But I mean, this has got to be the player to watch. He's still got a couple milestones to go to break records. So not everything is lost this season. Like I mentioned, he's 83 yards away from 1,000 yard season. So let's just get it done this week. I don't want to have to sweat the 1,000 yards for the last game. And then he's 27 yards away from breaking Randy Moss's record for most receiving yards in a player's first 6 seasons. So let's get it. I mean, this line secondary, like I said,
in the first half, and then you can shut him down the rest of the year. I don't even care.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that would be perfectly fine with me. Get Ty Felton out there. But against this line secondary, Jefferson should be featured early and often like he was last week. Get him touches any way possible. Also motion, quick hitters, deep shots. It just I don't even care how you do it. If there's slants or curls all day, 10 curls, 7 slants, just get them the 85 yards, 83 yards. Let's get them some. Let's get the record and finish it.
Yeah, and you were able to do that last week. So just get it done, and then you can kind of address what you want to do against Green Bay in the final game of the season after that. Awesome, Coach. I want you to talk about your tryouts and everything you got coming up on Sunday, since we're going to get a chance to do that. And then we're going to bring Jer in here and talk a little bit about it. But you got some tryouts happening this week up in the Minneapolis area. Chance for some young ball players to continue their careers. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, for those who are just tuning in for the first time and don't know much about me, my name is Cody Hommedahl, Coach Hommedahl. I am the assistant head coach and defensive coordinator for the Wyoming Cavalry. We'll be playing out of Gillette, Wyoming in the AIF, the American Indoor Football League. And this is my first season with the team, second season as a professional coach on the arena level. And we got tryouts, our first tryouts for this upcoming season, this Sunday, December 28th, 10 p.m. to 1 or 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Toka Soccer Center in Burnsville. I'm looking for all players. You don't even just have to be from Minnesota. The defense is going to live and be housed here in Minnesota, and then we'll travel out there. So, just if you got game, if you think you're a dog and you're not going to shy away from competition, come on out. Show me what you got. You got to show me. You got to see me in person, and we'll evaluate and get the best players out there. And we're going to go out to Wyoming and bring them a ring. I'm going for the second one in 1 year, calendar year.
Absolutely love it, Coach. Well, yeah, glad that we can give you a little bit of a platform to talk about the tryouts and talk about the Wyoming Cavalry. Looking forward to covering that team with you. But now I want to bring in our guy, Smoking Jer. Jer, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, glad to be here. Love talking football, period.
How we doing, man? Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. We get to watch each other on Christmas Day. Neither of our team can make the playoff, but all we can do is beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah, we hope that no injuries here. I think towards the end of these seasons, you hope that you don't see any big injuries from your best players. That's why we're even considering talking about shutting Jefferson down, right? You want him to get these yards and kind of break those personal accolades because they do matter, right? This man is building a Hall of Fame resume. You don't want to tarnish that in any way. But also, if he's kind of got that in the bag and you're going into a essentially meaningless game in week 18, there's no reason to risk your franchise on it.
There's no reason to sit him when you're playing the Packers.
Well, it depends on how Matt plays this week.
No. If you're not going to set him for us,
we are starting John Wolford against the Packers in week 18. They can sit Jefferson all they want to. But, if Max goes out and plays well this week, it'll really speak to what they try to do. Do they want to play spoiler? And me and Coach talked about it earlier in the show that none of these guys, it's just not the culture around this Vikings team to lay down. I know, around some really bad teams, the Browns, or, pick a terrible franchise. Arizona right now is god awful, right? You probably have a culture in that locker room that does that. I don't think you have that with this Vikings team, because if you did, they would have laid down 3 weeks ago, right? Or at least 2 weeks ago in Dallas. They didn't have to show up on Sunday night. They were already mathematically eliminated. So, and I know Detroit, you guys are you mathematically eliminated now, Jer? Is that what you're saying, or they still got
pretty much? I mean, it's like a 7% chance. And what would have to happen is we have to win out. Packers have to lose out. That's what it all boils down to. Because right now they have one more game, so they can't win a 10th game because they have to tie. Plus they beat them. So
So
the betting line, because I heard you ask, so I looked it up on FanDuel.
Thank you.
The Lions are 7.5 point favorites, and the over under is 43.5.
Wow, 7.5. I mean, I think I'm still hammering Vikings to cover. I don't know if I'm picking Vikings to win this week.
Money line, money line. It's minus 390 for the Lions and plus 310 for the Vikings. So basically, for every $10 you bet, you'll make 3. You know what I'm saying on the Vikings, and so it'd be 13 you get back. You know what I'm saying? Whereas if you bet on you're 13 on top of your bet, so it'd be 23 you'd get back. With the Lions, you would actually only get 17 total.
Right. Yeah, Jer. Thanks for explaining that, because I don't know what the hell any of that means. We're gonna have to bring you on every week to be our betting expert.
That plus minus gets me.
That's what the money line means. That's a straight up bet, and that's how on Wednesdays when I do my NFL show, we actually
Cody only speaks in wins and losses, man.
I do that. I do the wins and losses every week for the entire schedule on my Wednesday night show. I invite fans of other teams, and I don't care if they're in the division. I've got Ken the Bear fan and Ken Catalone on there. I've had a couple Vikings fans before. I've had Patriots fans, Bills fans. I don't care. It's about having fun and talking about NFL news. And we go through the entire schedule and do the pick'ems. And my record so far this year is like 137 and 92.
Hey, that's pretty damn good, man.
Go crazy.
Yeah, I'm better than 50%. That's all I care about. I don't want to end the year at 50%.
You're almost batting. You're batting like 650, man. Just quick
math in my head. 65%.
You're killing it, man.
So not bad. I got a guy that's killing me. That's one of I shared it to my channel since I said I'm being a guest in enemy territory. Yeah. And a couple of my people have came up. Steve, the Packer fans in there. Steve knows the policy, and Patty Grimes is actually from Grand Blanc, right down the road from me here in Michigan.
Well, you might be in enemy territory, but one thing we can all agree on here is fuck the Packers.
Hey man, FTP every day.
Yeah.
Oh,
you're cool, but
yeah, Steve's actually a knowledgeable fan, and we talk a lot. You know, he's not the normal Packer fan.
Jer, a little bit about me too. I grew up a Bears fan, and my wife's a Vikings fan.
I'm sorry.
And the Bears were so god awful my entire life.
I'm sorry.
I got so tired of my wife talking all this trash the last few years that I said, to hell with this, man. I would much rather oh, my wife. That's my wife, Danielle. Jer, but yeah, she talked so much smack, and we were going up to watch. Like a little bit harder for me to get to Chicago, and get up there. Hey, Steve, what's up to you? And get my wife back in here. She said she got me to come to the. You know what? It was really the fans, and it was really like even if the Bears won, because I'm outside of the city and I don't live close to any of my family, I got no one to celebrate a win with. My wife's like, "Shut the F up!" Like I don't want to hear about it. If you beat my team, I don't care. Where now we still kind of watch the Bears games, and both of us, it's just like I'm not emotionally attached, right?
And that's great because the last time the Bears beat them, it was 19 games before the last time. So,
and me, I've just become a bigger fan of football in general.
Yeah.
And a lot of that's had to do with becoming friends with Coach Cody, kind of following his journey first with the St. Paul Bears and now with the Wyoming Cavalry. We're just like, I like to talk ball and I like to kind of be in the conversation. I'm a podcaster, right? I came at this.
He's a lot happier. Hey, I bet he is. There's less fighting in the house, you know.
My
Mama's
attitude
happy, everybody's happy.
Season now is a lot better. And even though the Bears are doing well right now, I've found that franchise can be freaking toxic even when they're doing well. So a shout out to my family and the Bears obviously having a great season this year. Beat the Packers in that crazy game Sunday night that was, or a Saturday night rather. That was freaking crazy, man.
Yeah.
So, but also a loveless Parsons-less, and then their safety I know was out too, and it took everything they had. So you know what, these Bears fans are out of their minds right now. Enjoy it, but when you go up and play some of these playoff caliber teams that are healthy, I mean, you got to beat who's in front of you. But at the end of the day, like you got a lot left to prove and a lot to freaking figure out before you're talking about winning a Super Bowl. Hey, there you go. Steve's an all right guy. Might root for the Packers, but he's a Twins fan.
Hey, that's great. You know, I root for anybody but Chicago teams.
That's awesome. Yeah. Dude, I'm still all my other Chicago teams.
All of them can go to hell.
Yeah, no. I still got love for the Blackhawks, and I just grew up diehard Cubs fan. Really, still got love for all my Chicago teams. And no, I'm not a Yankees fan.
I don't call them the Yankees anymore. For a long time, I've been calling them the Yankees. But
How fun, man. Well, yeah, talking about this game, I know you guys lost a brutal game the other night, the other afternoon. I say night, it was the late afternoon game, but it was
Yeah.
freaking
It was
the
night
middle of
when
the
it
night,
happened.
felt like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, I did want to ask Cody about that because I know you probably watched the end of that game because you guys' game was done at 4:30 when ours started. That sequence, and I'm not talking about the second one, the Amon-Ra one. Yes, he pushed off a Ramsey. That was pass interference. I understand that negated that anything that happened after that. The one before, when the defender redirected Tesla into the safety and they called offensive pass interference. Oh, I agree with Rex Ryan. They got it dead ass wrong. You're initiated by a corner, pushed into a safety, and they call OPI.
Jared, do you feel like that might have been a little bit, and Coach, you too, a makeup call from the OPI in the end zone going the other way just a little bit earlier in the game?
The one with the DK Metcalf you're talking about, right? No,
Yeah.
He pushed off to the guy, came back to the ball just like Amon-Ra St. Brown. You know what I'm saying? That was the same type of play. So that is a actual OPI. You know what I mean? If you extend your arms, it doesn't matter.
I was talking about, but man, there must have been a bunch of OPIs in this game. There was one that happened in the end zone where they were running. Maybe it wasn't in the end zone, but it was a crosser, and they kind of ran that pick play and the that giant. Well, what's his name? Washington, the tight end,
the guy that's actually a tackle. He was drafted as a tackle.
Massive.
Yeah, he's
massive.
340
yeah,
pounds.
and the dude
he's
runs into him and
plays tight end. Get it right.
He says, "Get it right. Get him." You tell him.
Dude, he's 6'8", 265. Man,
I know, but
6'8".
He's 6'8". He was 315. He cut weight because they asked him to play. Washington was not a tight end. He cut weight from 315 to 265 to play tight end.
Damn, that's some work right there. That's crazy work.
Coach, there was one play where he ran over 3 DBs. They were bouncing off him like freaking bouncy balls. It was crazy.
I weigh 220. I weigh 220. I would bounce off of him.
Oh, did you guys see Nate Burleson on the Dan Patrick Show and what he said?
I did not.
What did he say? Clue us in. I don't have time to watch it right now.
He said, I played 7 years in the NFL before I came to Detroit. I had 2 contracts out there. I had Minnesota, then Seattle, and then I came to Detroit. And when I got there and we were playing against Chicago and Calvin Johnson made that catch at the end of the game and they called it not a catch because he stood up and sent the ball on the ground before he stood up all the way. They said, it's different here, man. The refs have it in for us. He goes, that's when he knew. And then the playoff game that same year was the face guarding play that got picked up in the playoff game.
Yeah, and
he said, in my 2 years before I got injured, there was 7 game-changing calls where there was rules changed the next season because of our team.
I believe it. I believe it.
And so he said it 100% is the thing. It's Detroit versus the refs.
Yeah, I feel that way as a Vikings fan sometimes, but that play, the one you were talking about with Calvin Johnson, that is a touchdown. That is a touchdown. That was
he caught it, got into the touchdown, got up on his knees, raised a hand, and set the ball on the ground and got up. And they said it's not a catch.
It's this whole
But yet, 2 weeks later, it was wintertime in Green Bay, and I remember this play because it was Randall Cobb made a diving catch into the end zone against your Minnesota Vikings, and it was snowing. He sets the ball on the ground and makes a snow angel without ever getting up. They still ruled it a touchdown.
Ruled it a touchdown.
Of course. Yeah.
See,
the Packers, the darlings of the NFL.
Yeah, I'm just saying it.
The only time the Vikings get a call is when they're playing the Lions.
Oh, please don't. But Here, I got one for you. I'm going to put something in for share screen here in a second. Let me get this going. It's what Skip Bayless said.
Yeah, that was a wild finish, man. And if Amon-Ra doesn't push off there, I mean, for one, he probably gets open anyway. And I wonder if that did they say was that Goff just kind of following the play or was that designed?
Yeah,
you never know with Dan Campbell.
No, that was Goff following the play.
Yep.
And Amon-Ra was trying to lateral it. It hit the ground, but that's a backward pass, which means it's a live ball.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the
Presence of
call was
mind
right.
to lateral
They
that.
called it a touchdown, but because the OPI happened before it, it negated the play.
Well, and hey, real quick, shout out to Goff, and that should be a lesson to younger players. You know, even the quarterback, like, don't give up on the play. Keep on with the play until the whistle. Play until the whistle. Just because you're a quarterback doesn't mean you can just throw the pass and sit there. Get upfield because stuff like that can happen. Just that's what being a vet and being a pro is all about.
So he said the first one was not pass interference OPI. You know what I'm saying? He was talking about the first one at first.
Okay.
It didn't gain any advantage. Just let him play. The second OPI was the last-ditch drive that cost Detroit a touchdown. Maybe the NFL just wants Aaron Rodgers in the postseason.
Hey, I'm not going to deny that either. I'm not.
I was like, Skip went off about it. You know what I mean? And then look what Robert Griffin said down there.
The second one in the end zone for sure. The one earlier in the game or in, you know, that drive. And that drive was just weird. That whole last drive was weird. Weird penalties on Pittsburgh too to extend things
back and
just,
forth and everything.
Yeah, just wild. The whole sequence. I honestly thought it was coming down and Detroit. You know, they were setting it up for Detroit to win, and then you have this crazy play at the end. Hey, we appreciate you, Steve. Thanks for tuning in, man. We're a new show. We started halfway through this season. Went through a rebrand. We were Vikings Uncensored, but there's another Uncensored. So we rebranded to Vikings United, which is actually better for us because we got Coach's insight. Obviously, you know, Coach has been a diehard Vikings fan his whole life. I'm a little bit new to the Vikings thing, but still watched a lot of NFC North football anyway. I know that you guys got the trash talk session. I had to leave the messenger group.
I don't do the trash talk that much.
Yeah,
I don't do it that much. I talk with facts, and if I get beat, I say good game. You know, I'm not that guy. But if somebody tries to trash my team when we just beat them, I'm gonna say, wait, you're saying what? You know,
38 years as a Bears fan, I've never had any shit to talk. They won the Super Bowl before I was born. And then they've only made it back once, and it was also
Indianapolis. Yep.
Are you saying has football changed since the 80s and 90s, or
100%? The 80s and 90s was a way more hardcore type of football. There wasn't a lot of that ticky tack. You have to put a pillow and a blankie on the quarterback when you sack them. You know, you can take somebody's leg out. So. Look at what LT did to Joe Theismann. That wasn't a penalty. It would be a penalty these days.
Well, and I was bitching earlier in the Vikings game. Eric Wilson had a sack on Jackson Dart where he's coming in. It's a little bit Steve, let me find me on Facebook. Bubba Starts, shoot me a DM friend request, and I'll send a link over to you, man. Yeah, and or actually, you know what? I think Jared could send it to you because he's probably already got you in a chat. So go ahead and send that link to him.
I got how to do it. I can copy it and put it into the chat actually on my side because that's where he's messaging.
And to answer Steve's question, I mean, yeah, it's 100% changed since the 80s and 90s. You know, you're talking about LT, Lawrence Taylor. I'm from a different generation, so I'm thinking, you know, Brian Urlacher, Zach Thomas, people like those, they'd probably be broke from all the fines, like we were talking earlier. Just Ray Lewis, people that were just Just
Yeah, that's it.
beasts.
That should be it, Steve.
Yeah, the messenger meta always adds some long freaking code to it, so it looks like trash, but there he is. Awesome.
Yep.
I'll wait for him to load up on I don't know if you got video on there yet, Steve, or just audio.
I'm gonna remove that graphic I put up.
No, you're all good, man. It's
Yeah.
nice that everybody uses StreamYard so we kind of know how to operate. Bring
There
in our
he is.
brother Steve. Welcome to the show, man.
What's up?
What's up, Steve?
How we doing,
What's up?
Steve?
Like I says, I've known JB for a couple years. I always respected him. You know, like I'm not one of these guys that comes in and I mean I can. I'll let you know that if you're going to bash on me, I can bring it. But I'm respectful of people's podcasts because I know people put a lot of work and time in this. But I just love talking football with people. And JB's been one of the decent guys I have met over the years that, like he said, he likes me because I actually talk football. I don't really trash talk. I'm not really that type of person. Now, if you want to bring it, because I'll tell you what right now, I'll bring it.
Oh yeah. Hey, but you have to admit, that is the only way Detroit gets in at this point. We have to win out. You have to lose out. That is what they said. That's it.
Well,
That's the only way.
Yeah, but you know, like I don't let anything phase me now in football because I've seen and heard many things. I don't know what to believe anymore. Like I don't know if you guys heard this, but I've been trying to say like there's been a lot of controversial calls about these refs. Okay, a lot. Not just the Lions or Bears or Packers, everywhere. Now, a couple years ago, I was on a pod. And it was said, now, JB, you're pretty good with background. You two dudes, God bless you, don't know you. You guys might know anything like this. But it was said that it was in a court order that the NFL is sports entertainment.
Yep.
It's sports entertainment. That the refs can call the games however they want.
Yep.
And that's what I gathered. I mean, so if that's, it's like, I hate saying this because I think some people, get mad when I say this, but it's like almost like the WWE.
Oh,
Yeah.
There was I remember a couple years ago, I saw where Roger Goodell made a statement. He says, the WWE let The Undertaker go 21-0 at WrestleMania, and because there's this big thing with the Patriots always winning, and now the Chiefs. And I'm like, why is he bringing up a wrestling antic when he's a commissioner of the NFL? And, it just hit me weird. But
Well, he was
Go ahead.
basically saying we are sports entertainment.
Yeah,
Right.
well, I mean, the
Therefore-
only thing they can control really is the refs, right? The schedule kind of has a system that it follows. You can't help injuries. You don't know how that's going to go, but you want the best franchises in that position because
It's
that
money.
makes the overall product more valuable.
It's money,
yeah,
and
man, it sucks to see it. Like that's my wife, Steve. She's not talking smack, but she could have a link to join the show too. She always tells me no. So until she jumps on the show to defend herself, then she'll just be on the sidelines.
Danielle, God bless you. Be safe, whatever. No hard. It's all good. I
Merry
take a lot of
Christmas.
crap on. I take a lot of crap on from people. I can take it.
Yep. I have my 4 sponsors that Steve loves that I do. He laughs when I do it because
Except for one.
Except for one. I got FTP and it shows the little stick figure screwing the Green Bay logo. Then I got F to B for fuck the Bears and it's screwing a Bears logo.
Hey,
And then
I have to say this on his one
the
show
crying
before.
bunny.
On his one show before, I was the first person to ever call his show.
Yes. When I had a good board that allowed me to hook a burner phone up, and I used the burner phone, and he actually called in, and we did a call-in show.
Awesome. Yeah, and StreamYard's great for this, man. I love it. I mean, I do. So what I actually do, Steve, is that I have the the Scene Projects is kind of my original network, which is all focused on independent music. I'm a songwriter and a musician, and I interview independent musicians and artists around the world. I've done over 500 interviews on my show. Was down
that's
working at the
awesome.
Grand Ole Opry House last month in November, doing interviews
That's
with
awesome.
different artists. And then I just happen to be a sports fan, so I've used my podcasting to get into, I'm trying to work it into credentials for some of these games, right? Get big enough to where we can get in and actually get on the sidelines for some of this stuff, because I've covered PGA Tour events with this, and I got like 70 followers, right? We got 70 subscribers, but because of who I am and knowing the systems a little bit, I've gotten into PGA Tour. I interviewed Rondé Barber and Chris Carter at a charity golf event.
Awesome.
Got a picture with Rondé. That was really cool. 45-minute presser with these guys, right? It was awesome. Got a bunch of free golf out of the podcast because I'm willing to go out there, bring my cameras, go hit some balls, and make a little promo video for the golf course, right? So it was all about leveraging the media side of it. And I watch a lot of, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Bears podcast, the Tape Never Lies Network, Draft Dr. Phil, and my guy Shane Martha. So as growing up a Bears fan, I was watching them a lot. And seeing what they had built was like, damn, man, that's cool, but I don't want to do a
Yes, Steve.
yeah, it's all, I can mute him while I'm talking. But I wanted to do a show, but there was already a lot of Bears coverage. Obviously, they're the biggest market in the NFC North. There's already a ton of coverage. You have CHGO.
Sorry about that, guys.
All these other networks. You're all good, man. But having that out there already, it was like, I want to do something, but I'm not going to break in on the Bears side, right? There's already a million shows. And once I started following the Vikings a little bit, I was like, there's nobody really out here doing, other than Purple Daily, who's a pretty big network with Score North, that's really doing Vikings kind of fan content. And then finding you guys, obviously, through Rob Haspel's and the Viking World Order crew is just like, oh no, we have a platform to talk about all of the charity work that the VWO are doing and some of these other people. So yeah, it was an easy transition then to like, okay, I know all the broadcasting stuff now, this podcasting world. Now we're just talking ball, and who gives a shit? I don't have to be the best in the world, right? I don't have to have all the answers as far as the statistics go. We got Big B from the Coast to Coast Network that's been co-hosting with us. He's a little under the weather tonight, so he's off the air. But yeah, man, it's just fun to talk ball. It's fun to invite the other teams in, good people, right? Talking football. We all care. It's fun to eventually be able to meet up at the tailgates and to, we all play each other twice a year, man. So it's about building a family and growing and just having good time watching ball, man. And I switched. I grew up a Bears fan. I switched so I could root for a team with my wife, right? Like rooting against your wife in football is like the worst possible thing on the planet, because if she wins, she talks mad shit and is in my face the whole time. And if I win, I don't get the same courtesy, right?
Oh, no, not at all.
Situation and
the prop bets can be great.
Yeah.
But anyways, you were talking about credentials. I've been lucky enough as a writer, because I write about the Lions for the South Florida Tribune. I have recently been picked up by Roundtable.io. I also write about the Jaguars and the Buccaneers. But I was credentialed for the 2024 draft here in Detroit.
Let's go. Let's go.
So I had a good friend of mine that performed at it, and that's kind of how I met the Viking World Order. My friend has a band called Trailer Park Country, and he did the song. He did the song "Tailgate Crazy," and it became a little viral hit. The NFL picked it up, and they invited him out to the draft. He was actually at the Hall of Fame game this year as well. Nice. So yeah, shout out to Trailer Park Country. Look them up. They're friends with all the super fan groups now. And, I've been blessed. I've been blessed to just know some people who were able to plug me in and then getting to meet the Viking World Order and going to the whiteout game up in Minnesota last year was just like, okay. And they're the closest team to me, right? I'm 8-9 hours from Chicago. I'm 5 hours from Minneapolis. It's a lot easier to get to the cities and see a game. I have a lot of friends up there that play music as well. So anytime we go up, I book a couple of shows and I'm able to kind of make a weekend out of it, right? Or go see the Twins. We were up there too. So yeah, this is all about access at the end of the day. Like, can we grow our platform big enough to be able to do what you've done and to get into some of these big events and get some sideline credentials eventually?
I'm hoping.
Well,
to
I've
be
been a
present-
I've
go
been a
ahead.
Packer. You know, I'm 52 years old, and I noticed most Packer fans became Packer fans when Brett Favre came into the era, and you know, Aaron Rodgers.
Fucking hated Favre.
I've been a Packer fan since 1978.
In green and purple.
When I was 4 or 5 years, actually, my first Packer game I watched was with my dad, and it was the Packers versus the Vikings. That was their very first game, and that was David Whitehurst and Lynn Dickey. That's when I started. And most Packer fans, Brett Favre. Now, my favorite quarterback of a Packer of all time was the Magic Man. He was the one I would hope. Yeah, he was the one I would hope that would have played for 70 years. I love Don Mikowski. In high school, because of that, everybody called me the Magic Man. Even my teachers wrote on my paper Magic Man. They drew a wand if I got an A or something. It was great. It was great. But my first game was, and I think so many weeks ago on YouTube, they showed that game on here. And I remember it brought back a lot of memories. It was the same game the first game that I watched versus the Packers and Vikings.
The beautiful thing with me is my first game was October 2nd, 1982. And that was the game when Billy Sims karate kicked Stevie Brown, the cornerback for the Houston Oilers, to get a first down. And then next year it became a rule that you couldn't karate kick people. So that was what made me a Super Lions fan at the age of 12. And 40 years to the day, I got to take my father to his first game at Ford Field. So that was awesome. Even though it was a losing effort versus Seattle, it was really cool to have that, circle of life moment.
Cody, you grew up a Vikings fan. I'm assuming you've been to a game either at the Metrodome or at US Bank?
I went to one game at US Bank back when we had Tavares Jackson. Christian Ponder.
Oh,
and yeah, we actually ended up winning that one, so that was sweet.
Oh, okay.
But other than that, I know, especially with him. Of course, it was Adrian Peterson carrying the load. But man, now you guys got me thinking. The first game I ever remember watching as a Vikings fan, it's got to be, I want to say, Randy Moss's first or second year. He was doing kick return or punt return, and he took one back against the Kansas City Chiefs. And that was
your two.
That was your two?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's always stuck out to me. And even growing up,
you just mentioned my greatest. Everybody says Aaron Donald was the worst. Aaron Donald was the worst draft miss by the Lions picking Eric Ebron. No, it's worse. In that draft that Randy Moss was picked 28, do you know who we picked 27? Terry fucking Fair. A punt returning corner that couldn't cover anybody with a blanket.
Yeah. That's tough. That's very tough.
I cried that draft. I was like, he's right there.
Man.
So, Steve, are you do you do the podcast with Jer occasionally? You got your own show or anything that you do, or what do you do?
I'm actually thinking somewhere down the line of starting one, but right now, like I just love going on like his show and all the other shows. Like I even found another one. It's a Bears show. There's 4 guys, and they're really cool guys. They're really cool guys. It's a Bears show that I found, and they respect me. We had a little fun trash talk, but it's what I enjoy. Just to talk football, because here where I'm at, I live in West Virginia, okay, and here where I'm at, outside my one friend John, who's a 49ers fan, I don't really have anybody to talk football with. Now my girlfriend here is a Colts fan, and so forth, but still, no one really has the knowledge for me to talk football with. Then that's why, like I said, I just want to talk. I don't really want to trash talk. Like I
Right.
said, I enjoy JB, and I mean, I could bring it if I wanted to, but I'm not really a disrespectful guy like that.
No, but
whatever.
it's your only team. It's your only chance to talk about your team because you don't have it. You're not a local fan, right? And that's like the beauty of the internet now is that you can still like follow your team and find community and have people to talk to about it. And even if you only get together once a week, and to me, that's what was cool about the Tape Never Lies network. Shout out to my guys. Draft Dr. Phil. And now they built a whole network. They got shows every day. They got, ex-Bears that are coming on with them and hanging out. And they've really grown this thing, but they were in chat rooms and shit way back. Like in the late 90s, they've been doing different chat rooms. And then Bears Bar Room was another one that did it. And I started following them there. And then they've just been growing and growing and growing, where their YouTube channel's got like, I don't know, 16,000 subscribers or something now. And they get a huge following, people tuning into their live stuff all the time. But it just grew from being in small communities of Bear, because one of them's from Connecticut, the other one's in upstate New York. So they've always been out of town Bears fans and really growing from there. So seeing what they built gave me a lot of confidence to come out and build this network. We do a pregame show before the Vikings games. This week's different. We did our pregame coverage on Tuesday for Vikings United, but this is kind of exactly what we want the show to be.
Yes.
Being able to bring in the opposing team in on Tuesday nights, talk ball, talk about the game coming up, talk about the game that was, and just have some fun with each other and to share it, right?
Well,
Well, it's like, to me, I've been on some other pods, and what I don't like is that there's like JB, he's a lot. Him, Fred, this Jimmy Jackson, he's cool. I don't like the ones that can dish it out,
but can't take it.
They, because if you cut now, see, they have the power. Like if you say something back, they could ban you or whatever. I mean,
you.
No,
we can just mute Steve if we don't like what he's saying.
Right.
With you, Steve.
If you're going to come on, okay, there has to be a little to make the pod fun. There's got to be a little hostility, little, but keep it clean. Keep it clean.
Respectful. Yeah.
If you can't take it, then don't dish it.
So
I mean,
when Jim comes on, I do something for him on my channel from my soundboard. Do you mind if I play a quick sounder?
No, go ahead.
I love it. Oh man. But yeah, no, Steve, I'm with you. I got that same mentality. You want to have a place to come and talk football. Everybody have respect for everybody. But if someone crosses that line, you're willing to dish it back. I'm kind of the same way. Don't take my kindness for weakness because these hands work. You feel me?
Right.
So
Amen.
it's the same
Don't be
thing.
a keyboard warrior if you can't back it up.
Exactly. Yeah. But just have, you wanted the space to talk football, and not very many people might have that knowledge, or the same level of knowledge to talk that football, but there's also not that very many places for people to go and feel comfortable to speak, about football. And so this is why we're doing what we're doing. And, right now it's for fun. Who knows? It could build into something bigger and better. And we could probably all one day meet at a Vikings game, doing it on the sideline. And,
Cody, if we get into one game, right? Or even if we just get to for us, like the VWO, they're all most of them are season ticket holders, right? So if we can get to the point where we want to start covering it and being at their tailgates when possible and doing the show live from there. So if this show gets us into one game that we didn't have to go and buy tickets for, it's a win, right?
Yeah.
And just being able to hang out and talk ball. Your show is, I'm sure you feel this way, Jer. Your show is wildly, it got you into a draft, dude.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That in my writings. I started them the same season, the 22-23 season. And in 2 years' time to be able to be at the draft was amazing. It was an honor. Thank you to my publisher for applying for my credentials to get me in there. Scott Morganroth, who's originally from the Detroit area. He moved to Florida, started the South Florida Tribune, and he bought the name of the paper that he wrote for in Detroit called the Motor City Tribune. So that's where all my articles go in the subheading under the South Florida Tribune. Well, because of him and his connections, I got hooked up with Roundtable.io, which is an app you can download on your phone, and they have different shows and different for all 32 NFL teams. So I'm trying to break into there for the Lions too, and have my stuff go to 2 sites.
Yeah, we're gonna look them up tomorrow. We'll do some writing. Say, Steve, we're getting some pretty bad feedback off of there, so I'm gonna let you go. But just a chance to say goodbye to everyone and wish everyone a Merry Christmas.
Yep.
You too. And thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Steve.
Steve.
Man, pleasure, Steve.
And
Nice
see
to
you
meet
again
Don't be a
sometime.
stranger, man. Make sure you jump over. Scene Project Sports Network is our YouTube channel. Give us a subscribe over there, and you're welcome here anytime, man. Appreciate you, brother.
What's the name of the site?
Scene Projects Sports Network.
Okay, I'll check it out and I'll do
Yeah,
that.
SPSN.
Okay.
Well, and Bubba, I
Steve, have a
mean,
Merry Christmas.
You too, and you guys be safe. God bless.
God bless, man. Happy holidays.
It took me 4 years to get to where I started podcasting, to where I even wanted to be a part of a network. And the reason why is a somber one. It was February 8th, 2016. That was the infamous fail can't Super Bowl where they couldn't hold off the Patriots. And my son, my oldest son, called me at halftime. He lived in North Carolina at the time. And he goes, "What do you think of this game?" I said, "You cannot count the Patriots out." And he said, "If that happens," he goes, "I don't care what you do the rest of your life, do something with the football knowledge you have." And I said, "Okay." He goes, "I know you're a Lions fan, so that's the route you'll go." That was the last time I got to talk to my son on the phone because he perished in a car crash that night. And so after dealing with all of that, and 4 years later, I started a page about the Lions on Facebook, and I started writing a couple game previews and game reviews. And lo and behold, I made a comment on a podcast called Inside the Pigskin that was ran by Scott Morganroth, and he was talking about the difference between Matt Patricia and Dan Campbell back in 2021. Yeah, see? He agrees with me. Take out the Packers in Week 18. But anyways, so I said, "Oh, I can give you my nicknames for him." He goes, "Throw them in there." I said, "I called Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn, Matt Patricia and Boob Quinn." And he laughed and he contacted me and goes, "You ever do any writing?" And the only game that I had reviewed that year was the Ravens game when they beat us with that, at the time, the NFL record 66-yard field goal from Justin Tucker. And I called it the greatest kick that never should have happened, and explained about the false start, the time running out, and they had no timeouts, and they didn't do a runoff and didn't call a penalty because that kick shouldn't have happened. When they spiked the ball, it was 2 seconds after the clock hit 0. And we all know, even though the time play clock is off, it's not off by 2 or 3 seconds. It's like a half a second off between the TV and real life. So, Twins fan, did you misspell Tigers? Jim, you're funny. No, he's from Minnesota. Man. Give him his stuff. But so that's how I got started into the writing. I met up with through my page on Facebook. I met Jim Bordeaux, who ran Detroit Lions on the Prowl, and he passed away Thanksgiving of 2021. But he started having me on his Friday show, which was Free for All Fridays, with fans and podcasters of the show. And he introduced me to some guys, and I took over that season and helped them out. And at the end of the season, I found out they had been on for 3 years and not a new podcast like I thought, because they had 29 subs when I started, and they had 209 subs by the end of the season. I said, I think I need to do this on my own. I said, "Oh, okay." And the next couple months later, I got my StreamYard going. I started it, and I had 100 subs the first month. I'm sitting at almost 600 now.
Let's go. Let's go.
So I'm trying to get to where I'm paid. I'm trying to get to where I'm paid like everybody else, you know.
Yeah, man.
But you know what? But I didn't do it because I'm paid. I didn't want to do it because I want to be paid. I did it because I love talking football. I love my team, and I love talking sports. And
Hey, we're going to follow in your footsteps with the writing gigs, man, because I think what you just explained there is that when you look at the stats and you listen to the winners, that you're not getting any context, right? You're not getting any context about how the game was won or lost either way. And that's a valuable asset, I think, to our stack now, as well as kind of getting more writing out there. And I'm releasing these as podcast fan, on our podcast versions as well. At least the Vikings United, the pre-games are kind of, pre-game is pre-game. We'll do those as a live stream, but yeah, man, it's really cool to see what it's done for you. Really sorry to hear about your boy, man. That's awful for any parent to have to go through, man. So our hearts go out to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, fellas, it's almost 10 o'clock here in South Dakota. I think you're an hour ahead of us, Jer. Are you East Coast time?
Yeah. I'm in Eastern time. I'm about an hour north. Yep. I'm up this time of night. I mean, I usually work afternoons for my day job. But thank you very much for having me on. I appreciate it. Christian Mahogany, he was awful in his first game back after the injury. I didn't expect much out of him, but he did have a backup center playing next to him and not our starting center in Graham Glasgow, who was a full participant today. So that's good that we may have him back, because that will get some of that cohesiveness back that they just started to build on the interior goal line. Yeah, she's getting tired. She's like, "Come to bed, Daddy."
Yeah. She doesn't care. She's got her cats, man. She's going to bed. Well, I might be sleeping in the garage though if I don't get in there soon.
Yeah, but
pleasure having you on, Jer. Have a great,
it's a pleasure talking.
Enjoy the game.
I say the same thing when I end every one of my shows, and I'd like to share it with you. It's try every day to be a better person than you were the day before, because that's the only way we'll make the world a better place. It starts with yourself.
I like that.
Appreciate
Have
that.
Have a great
man.
night, everybody.
Hey, you too. You know what? In this game, if the Lions win, I'm not going to be that brokenhearted, honestly. And at least you still got some hopes. We're mathematically eliminated, so a win for us is just playing spoiler. So
yeah, when we beat the Cowboys, that was the week. I think that was the week.
Yeah.
Awesome, have a great night.
Have a great one, Jer. Nice to meet you, man.
All right.
Well, Coach, that was cool to see it all come together. Our first show where we had in some other fans of the opposing team and even some other NFC North fans as well. I think that's where I'd like to see this go, because ultimately you bring something to the table that not a lot of us have, which is the experience on the field, in the locker room, as a coach yourself. You see the game in a different way. And I think over time, a lot of these fans and fellow podcasters are really going to appreciate what you bring to the table. So you're kind of our ace in the hole, Coach.
I appreciate you. I appreciate this opportunity. Like I said, when you first came up to me with this, I'm not comfortable. I don't like being on camera. I don't like speaking on camera, but I mean, this is an opportunity for growth. Big things can come from this, and you gotta live outside your comfort zone. So we're just gonna get bigger and better.
Speaking of a platform, tell everybody about the tryouts one more time
this
weekend, and we'll let you get out of here and get some rest.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. You too, though. So let's get it. This Sunday, December 28th, at Toka Soccer Center in Burnsville, we're having tryouts for the Wyoming Cavalry Arena football team playing in the AIF Arena Indoor Football League. And it's from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. I'm calling all ballers, dogs, beasts, whatever you want to call yourself. If you got game and you want to come show it off and, hopefully land a spot on a professional team, getting paid to play the game that we all love, come on out, show me what you got. Let's get this ring.
Awesome, Coach. Well, I hope you have a very Merry Christmas.
Yes, sir. You too.
we're gonna have some fun watching some ball this week, and really happy to get to spend a lot more time with you. We got together on some events this year that I don't think either one of us had on our bingo card for
Nope.
the year. I got video of all of us together from the show up in Hinckley, which was super cool. And yeah, a couple of comments here. Jimmy, thanks for tuning in, man. We
Yeah,
appreciate
thank you, Tim.
for hanging out with us. And yeah, I agree, man. I grew up a Bears fan. I've seen how toxic that fan base can be. I still love a lot of them. Some of them are family to me, but I really appreciate, I think what it is that the Vikings and Lions and the Bears fan base has been awful for so long. They've been living on 85 for fucking 40 years now. But the Vikings and Lions, like the teams were so historically it was so many tough seasons, right? Vikings never having, won a Super Bowl, got some NFL championships, right? But no Super Bowl. That it just brings a different breed of fan and just nicer people, right? Upper Midwestern people are different. Nicole here giving us the strong. Thank you, Nicole. Appreciate you tuning in. Danielle says you look exhausted. I'm sure I do as well. The hat's covering it up a little bit, but Coach, I love that we get to spend time together like this, man. We get to talk ball. And we're going to do a lot of good with this show moving forward, too. So everybody make sure you subscribe to our channel, follow along with our coverage. We're going to be talking more football as we go through when we're going to be doing a lot of draft coverage as the season comes to a close here in the next few weeks. So we'll have a lot of draft coverage. And then after the draft and the Super Bowl, Coach starts his season with the Wyoming Cavalry. So we're going to be still covering football. It's going to be indoor football league, right?
Yep. Indoor football league. So
yeah, so
faster,
lots of great
more
ball,
intense.
and yeah, it never stops here. So make sure you give us a follow. Scene Project Sports Network. We're gonna have some great golf stuff that we'll be doing during the summer as well. So, Coach, I'm gonna be trying to get us on a bunch of golf courses in the summer here too. So, a Merry Christmas to you, Jimmy. Thank you, brother, for tuning in. We appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, hey, it's gonna be a fun one on Thursday, no matter what. And either way, like I said, I'm not going to be too disappointed if the Lions win because that keeps us in the fourth place schedule. And it gives us an opportunity to go out and still spoil the Packers season to finish the season too. They got a tough one against the Ravens this week. So that Ravens team still kind of clawing at their playoff chances. Everybody, this has been Vikings United here on the Scene Project Sports Network. We appreciate you all. Coach Cody Hommedahl. I've been saying your name wrong for a while. We live in Bon Homme County, which is Homme. So I've been saying Hommedahl. It's not right. It's Hommedahl. I apologize, Coach.
No worries.
Thanks for tuning in and joining the show tonight. We appreciate you, man. Make sure you guys go check out our sponsors, Pillars of Valor Coffee. And you know what? I'm actually going to switch up our closing video to that. So we give them a little extra play just because they're doing so many great things as well. Appreciate you, Coach. Have a Merry Christmas. Get that car fixed, and we'll see you soon.
Merry Christmas. Have a good one.
Love you all. Have a Merry Christmas. As we cheer on our Minnesota Vikings, let's also recognize true heroes. Pillars of Valor Coffee isn't just about exceptional taste. It's a veteran-owned company with a powerful mission. With every purchase, you're directly contributing to programs that empower and support veterans and first responders. Imagine starting your day with a rich, bold coffee that also fuels a vital cause. Pillars of Valor Coffee is dedicated to making a tangible impact, honoring those who've served our nation and communities. Join them in their mission. Visit pillarsofvalor.com to learn more and get your bag today. Pillars of Valor Coffee. Great coffee, greater purpose.